Heads up! This podcast contains infrequent informal language. Please proceed with due caution. This is Perfume Songs Podcast. If you are new to this show, we recommend beginning from the pilot episode and making your way through in order. If not, you'll pick it up along the way. Please enjoy the show.
Waiter, yes sir, there's a fly in my soup.
Well, we said last time that we were going to try recording outside, but January in New Zealand 2021, and the weather's a bit bipolar. It's all or nothing. It's strip teasing us, and Australia seems to be getting all the good stuff. It's a bit too windy. We're back in Sam's living room. Thank you for hosting us.
Welcome to my home.
Let's get straight into it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my Talking Heads one, my prompt was, from Ryan, it had to be no more than 3 chords.
With a little leeway.
Yeah.
You could change the chord by changing the bass.
Yeah, I think if you're being strict, I used about 6 chords.
Punishment time.
Yeah. The lyric prompt was brag about a body part, and I think I already said that it had to be influenced by Talking Heads. Just a word of warning, how do I put this? I was sober when I sang this, but I did yell like I was drunk, so it's called Grey Matter.
Cool. Should I hit it?
Yeah.
Eyes, mouth, ears, nose, connected to a head that connects to a chest, 2 arms, 2 legs, a heart pumping, lungs insulating, 1 neurons firing, another thought to keep the engine running. Meanwhile, here's growing feet, stepping hands, grabbing fingers, thumbs, elbows, knees, all bending, don't forget the toes, and not a thought to keep the engine running. Look at this head, it's screwed on tight. Won't stop making sense. Switched on and bright. Keeps me out of trouble. Lets me sleep at night. Sometimes gets excited. Interpret sound and sight. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter flexibility. Cranium potentiality. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter dexterity. Ay, ay, ay. Look at this mind. It's focused like a laser. Then it zones outside. Smarter than a blazer. See it when it shines. More shocking than a taser. Dividing lines. Sharper than a razor. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter flexibility. Ay, ay, ay. Cranium potentiality. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter dexterity. Ay, ay, ay. From the largest arteries to the smallest capillaries. From the hardest bones to the softest tones. From the longest hair to the biggest care. From the weakest heel to navigating complex deals. It's 100% genuine, one of a kind. From a set of 7.7 billion, that's billion with a B, by the way. Half water, made of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus. It's one untamed thinking machine. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter flexibility. Ay, ay, ay. Cranium potentiality. Ay, ay, ay. Grey matter dexterity. Ay, ay, ay.
Nice.
Wow.
That was awesome.
So strong right out the gate.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just nailed the Talking Heads vibes.
Yeah,
David Byrne.
That was such a good David Byrne impersonation. Really word heavy as well, which is not something we've got a lot from you yet.
Yeah.
Until
Right.
now.
And that's kind of what he does. He kind of doesn't like.
It's stream of consciousness almost.
Yeah, he doesn't have a regard for like rhythm or anything. He just kind of like smashes it all in there. It's
What
great.
a backhanded compliment.
No, it's
No,
because the
it's
timing
totally,
of
yeah.
everything is really good. But then when you just do those talky bits,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
just like really like
That's exactly
That's a cool
what I had
vibe.
in my mind when I gave you the prompt, like for in terms of brag about a body part,
Right.
because he would do the whole like I said in the last podcast, look at this arm, look at all the things the arm can do, and you've just taken that to the nth degree.
Yeah, I did peak the mic on especially that middle bridge part, but then I was like, oh, the performance is so good. Like,
You were drunk, you weren't thinking about it. Really good harmonies.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
thanks,
so
just
envious
the-
of your ear for harmony. It's really smooth.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a third on that I.
There's just two voices.
Just
on
two
there.
voices, yeah.
Oh, right.
And I kind of had a question for you guys about double tracking.
Yes.
Because are you supposed to just double track everything like I did in that? Is that like
What do you mean supposed to?
is that like
There's two.
the norm? Is what I'm saying. Like,
It's an effect you can
It's
do.
an effect, yeah, like the most famous being John Lennon and the Beatles. There's two ways you can double track. You can physically do it, which is when you just go over it again.
that's what I did with all mine. Just
Yeah.
saying the same thing again. But sometimes it's out of time a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. That's human error. That's part of
Yeah.
it. Because the other way you can do it is by adding an effect, like a very quick delay.
Oh, I
so
see.
it will sound like two voices, but it won't be as smooth.
Okay.
Whereas I've recorded Sam in the past, and Sam, when he double tracks, he is too good. It just
okay.
sounds like it's phasing because he's singing the exact same rhythms, the exact same volume. It doesn't sound like two
Right.
voices.
Oh, right. So you want to be a little bit out of tune and a little bit.
If you want it to be an obvious
depends
double
on the-
voice,
yeah.
that's why backing vocals usually, especially with my stuff, it's hard to tell that there's more voices than there are, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that later, but singers famously that have done their own backing vocals, like Robert Plant for Led Zeppelin, because the others don't really sing, it doesn't sound as good as, you know, John singing with Paul and
Oh, I
George,
see.
because there's the timbre change,
Yeah.
which makes them stand out.
Okay. No,
But
that was just a
Going
question I
against
had.
that, your one sounds really good.
Talking about vocal harmonies,
Oh, yeah,
do
go
my-
ahead. Yeah, go for it.
go on to my a cappella one.
Oh, Sam sent me a message last night saying that he couldn't wait for me to hear this.
Although, actually, I should do a disclaimer for this one too, that the tuning is a bit off in some places.
That's okay, you got no instruments to reference.
Well, I mean,
except perhaps a bass or something similar.
I did use a guitar to like create a chord structure to start with, and then I just sang all the notes from the guitar chord and then
Oh, yeah.
removed the guitar.
That's a good way to do it, yeah.
What you should do, instead of saying, oh, guys, it's a little bit out of tune, you should brag and say, guys, I got a little bit microtonal
Yeah.
with this one.
Yeah, I'll just say
That's for the free jazz track.
I was like, oh, I could use pitch correction here, but then I thought the prompt is to make a song completely a cappella, and I thought using pitch correction would be kind of cheating for the prompt.
Compression's
I just-
not cheating, reverb's not cheating.
Yeah,
But I do think that when it's too perfect, you know, you hear it and you're kind of like, it doesn't
Yeah.
sound as good almost.
yeah,
Yeah. Especially when you like really are familiar with the song and you see the band and they can't obviously perform it to the record standard. Queen would maybe be the only exception, but they make up for it with power.
Right. I never noticed any issues with Queen's music. Sounds great.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury, he's like, should I go on this tangent? Very briefly, Queen were my introduction to music, so I've listened to a lot of their gigs, a lot of their bootlegs. I have not heard one bad gig from Freddie Mercury.
Right.
And even if he's having a bad day, his rough voice sounds fantastic as well.
I think when you know your voice and you know technique really well, then you can make the most of any situation. Like you can be a bit off, but you know how to counterbalance it with technique. You know how to sing while you're sick, or you know how to sing while you're tired.
It can be an
make
effect
it
as
sound
well.
good.
Like Tom Waits' singing voice is very smooth. He puts on the gruffness
Yeah.
and he knows how to control it. which is always fun to listen to.
But cool. Yeah, anyway. So Ryan's prompt to me was a cappella. So I was only allowed to use one pitched instrument, which I didn't actually do. I used just voices and percussion. So it had claps and like a MIDI kick drum and some tambourine.
And what was the lyric prompt?
Blind.
Yes. Okay.
Just the word blind.
Open to interpret as you like, as is the format of the show.
Oh, and it's featuring Tanya on vocals as well.
Part of this is real, and how can we know the line between what's true and imagined will never show? Are these thoughts my own, or an affection passed on? We plan our lives as if we know what's over the horizon. We are really going in blind, scary no, don't know what we're going to find in the next episode. There's no use waiting, you gotta take a dive. The sea's always changing while you're alive. Take a leap of faith and see what's on the other side. With my eyes closed, I can see more clear. See what's blocking the way for polluting the air. Toxic inputs in your life tell you always fail. Cut that shit out with a knife. Believe that you'll prevail. We are really going in blind. Scary alone, don't know what we're going to find in the next episode. There's no use waiting, gotta take a dive. The sea's always changing while you're alive. Take a leap of faith and see what's on the other side. We are really going in blind. Scary alone, don't know what we're going to find in the next episode. There's no use waiting, gotta take a dive. The sea's always changing while you're alive. Take a leap of faith and see what's on the other side.
Fucking hell. Cool, man. Just when I think you can't top your previous song. Wow.
Well done.
Great singing, Tanya.
Yeah. Actually had the nice little hook in there. I was so sick of hearing my voice.
Yeah. How
And
many
then-
layers did you have in the end?
I think there were 14 vocal tracks.
Oh.
No, 16 vocal tracks.
All right, Mr. Wilson.
And 4 percussion tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I recognise that tambourine anywhere.
Yeah, it did kind of give me Beach Boy vibes.
Yeah, yeah, with the
just a
bars,
bar.
yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is bars.
Whereas his vocal reminded me a bit of Bono. I could see Bono singing to that. It's kind of gospel.
Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Like the lead vocal bit.
when you said the prompt was a cappella, so there's sort of, I just decided to go fully down like a gospel kind of vibe. You guys are talking about double tracking, so I was thought about doing this because the chorus I double tracked all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I actually sort of double tracked the lead line and then had an octave below as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then the alternative lines were just double checked. So there's 2 different alternating lines in that part.
It really makes it stand out. There's a song called Lightning by a band that Adam and I love called Straightener. And the lead vocal is 3 octaves.
Oh, wow.
And it just blends together
crap.
so
Yeah.
well.
It's hard to do actually.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of pop artists these days doing that. They'll have like the octave down and then they'll have like a falsetto over the top. Or they'll sing like the main vocal will be mid-range and then they'll have a falsetto voice over the top. just sort of blended in softer. But when I tried to do it myself, I was like, oh damn, how do they do that?
So I think this is the first time that one of us has brought on someone else for their prompts.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Is it?
Is that legal?
Is it? Is it though? Is it the first song?
well, actually, I have to be honest. All my drums and guitars were not performed by me, and all my drums, guitars, and bass were not really recorded by me. They were all recorded by Ryan.
Hey!
And that's why my
Mosaic 93, baby!
that's why my production was so good on this one, I think.
Oh yeah.
We were wondering if you were going to notice.
Well, I did notice that you were like
The first cymbal hit I did, I was like, oh shit, it's so obvious, it's me.
No, I did notice it was like
Real drums and
real good, but
Yeah.
I just thought you'd done it all yourself.
No.
I think it was on the
couldn't
car
do it.
ride home. We had a lovely time after the last recording. We went out for dinner to celebrate
nice.
Sam's birthday. You were there.
Yeah.
On the car ride back, Adam was like, yeah, Talking Heads, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'm not going to be able to play drums or find any good loops. Would you please play on them? And I was like, yeah, sure. But there's going to have to be an exchange. Adam plays an instrument on my song. I won't say which. You will have to guess for yourselves.
It's not the one you'd expect.
Oh.
No. So this was from Sam, and it was musically in the style of Michael Jackson. So for me, I was kind of torn because early Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 is fun, but difficult because you're kind of emulating 5 unique players. And then later Michael Jackson is really well produced. And straight off the bat, I am not a good singer. I cannot sing like Michael Jackson.
I don't know anyone who can, so don't worry about that.
So my vocals aren't the strongest point, especially the backing vocals, but I gave it a go. I did 4 backing vocals and I did 5 clap tracks. So yesterday doing this for about half an hour.
I gave up on that with my claps because I did like 2 clap tracks and I just thought, oh, this sounds so dumb. So I just found a clap sample and so I blended them.
Yeah. One good thing to do is maybe just do like 4 bars and then just loop it.
Yeah, because I clapped the whole song through twice.
I clapped mine 5 times.
I just can't keep doing this. I was running out of time.
All right.
So I ended up going for the style of the Jackson 5, but I sang a bit more like later Michael without all the woos and because that's the joke, and it's not a joke song. And the lyrics were about wooing a lady. So I wanted to go from the perspective of Kid Michael singing about wooing a lady, backed by his brothers and the Jackson 5. And it's called Perfume Pursuit.
Tired of dancing on my own at night. There's gotta be a nice girl out there somewhere for me. Oh, let's go dancing under kaleidoscopic lights. My dancing shoes on fire under bright lights. I will wow you with my moves and you want me for all night. I'm moving both our bodies, let's have a good time. Girl I danced with didn't like my moves. The second said she wasn't into preteen dudes. Here we go. Off to karaoke where I'll wow you with my voice. Sweep you off your feet just to look into my bright eyes. Protect you from the bad guys if they try to force a choice. I'll make them see the stars cause I'm gonna go hypnotize. girls that tried to said they were both lesbians are already taken. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm out to woo a lady. She'll make me money foul. I got to woo a lady and get to higher ground. I did not woo a lady. In fact, somewhere mighty rude. I'll just forget the ladies. I'm out to woo it too.
That was cool. Did you put your vocals up by an octave or something? Or?
Yeah, so I initially intentionally recorded it at a slow tempo in, I think it was C major, so my register, and then I discovered the vari-speed option on Logic, which means you can pitch up a song without affecting the speed, or you can speed up the song without affecting the pitch, or you can affect both. So I turned it up a tone.
Oh, right.
Right.
Only
So,
a tone.
yeah.
Nice.
So you can tell it's sped up, but that's a lot of what they used to do back in those days.
Did you pitch up the whole track or just the
The
vocals?
entire track.
Oh, right.
Yep. So, well, Adam was on the track. I remember when I was showing it to him, he's like, "It's a bit slow," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be quick." I redid the skin of my snare drum, so I'm finally happy with my snare sound.
Do you know what I played?
Yeah, what did Adam play?
I'm not sure.
Are you sure it was me singing?
Was it Adam singing?
No, he played the bass.
I thought it was you singing, and I thought it would have been you playing the bass, but you guys threw me by saying it's not what you think.
Exactly.
By saying that, it became not what you thought.
Nah, because on the car ride home, I was like, I'm thinking of doing Jackson 5, but I can't play like Jermaine's. So if you listen to Jermaine Jackson's playing on songs like I Want You Back, which is what this one's based off.
Yeah, I heard
it's
some
an
of those lines.
insane bass line.
And I teach that bass line to my students, so I was like, I kind of know how he plays, and then just like went for it. But that's like one of those songs where it's like just beyond like looking at how it's made and everything, it's just really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just cool.
It's a bit of a masterpiece. Eh? Like,
You can't not listen to Jackson 5 and not smile.
Yeah.
It's just the most fun and pure music in the world.
That whole like Motown groove.
Yeah, and
makes you wanna-
there's something about family members where the voices are just fantastic. So like Oasis and Jackson 5.
Finn Brothers.
Yeah. Beach Boys, Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Probably the best of them all. I committed a sin, a personal sin, because I'm very much a champion of the one who's like, I'm a Kiwi, we say dance. If you're going to sing, you sing dance. But because I'm doing Michael Jackson, I had to go with dance.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
but you
that's
pronounce
gonna come out
karaoke.
But
right
that's
way.
the weird thing. I pronounced karaoke the way that it's actually pronounced in Japanese, which is karaoke for all you common filth out there.
the pronunciation thing does come up in my next one.
It's a bit pretentious. It's like you didn't visit Paris, you went to Paris.
I love the there was something that made me and Sam laugh heaps.
Was it my
Preteen
performance?
Dudes? She was
the preteen.
Yeah, I was gonna do it as a straight song, but then I'm like, imagine a kid Michael actually doing this.
Yeah, well,
what would
that's
the
the thing.
reaction be?
It's
But
like
then, because Kid Michael sings about like girls all
About
the time.
love and
and it's like
I
probably
would like to say with my final lyric, I'm not implying that Michael Jackson was gay. I wasn't even referencing his scandals or anything. The entire point of the lyrics is he tries to woo a girl, none of them are interested or that way inclined. So he's like, hey, guys.
Man, I love all the songs we've got today so far.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah,
much fun
Really
to listen
strong
to them.
episode so far.
Let's hope we don't fuck it up with the other three.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a chat, and I suggested that for our middle discussion today, we'd talk about something that's quite powerful with music. When you're on holiday, particularly, you shouldn't listen to the music you already know well. You should listen to something new, because then you'll always associate your memories with that bit of music. I studied audio engineering for 2 years in the early 2010s, graduated, didn't really expect to do much with it. A few months later, one of my fellow students contacted me and was starting up a home studio in the town of Akaroa in the South Island. And he asked me if I wanted to be an assistant engineer for a project he was doing there. So I was like, yep, that sounds like a lot of fun. While I was down there, I discovered the band The Phoenix Foundation, which is a local favorite of mine that we've mentioned before. And I listened to their probably best album, Buffalo. Mm-hmm. It's just a fantastic progressive alternative album. Every track is a banger, but they've got a lot of moods. The title track is their most famous song, and it's just a really fun song that doesn't make any sense about a buffalo that lives in the ocean. But they always close concerts with that, and everyone dances and sings along. I really like a few of the lesser known songs on the album. There's one called Flock of Hearts, sung by Luke Buddha. It's just a really sweet song. And another one of his called Skeleton. Actually, Luke is on fire on that album. Skeleton's really kind of atmospheric and creepy. And then he has a really nice folk song called Bailey's Beach, which is a beach out near Piha, which is about 40 minutes away from where we're from. Just a really solid album. It celebrated its 10th anniversary recently, and they expanded the album by putting the outtakes on it. I have the CD, the original CD. I listened to it for about 5 years, and then when I finally put it into the computer to like put it on the iPod, remember iPods? I discovered that there were 2 hidden tracks.
What, that you can only get by looking at it on your computer? That you can only access by looking at the computer. What the hell?
So I sent out a tweet or Instagram or something, and then Sam Flynn Scott just like sent back a wink emoji.
Oh man, it's been there all along. It's crazy.
But they made it public with the 10th anniversary edition, but I was just like...
So was it actually on the CD, but you
couldn't access it through the CD player. You had to access it through a computer.
Oh, because I've had the classic like one where they just leave like a minute space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting.
And see, you can't really do that with Spotify these days.
You
can see everything on it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So Phoenix Foundation, Buffalo, great album, one of the best New Zealand albums, and I associate it with a lovely cold autumn week I spent in foggy Akaroa making some fantastic folk music, which sadly didn't really get released. But one of the songs got made into a music video, and that's on Vimeo. And it's got me with very, very long hair, which I'm only now starting to have as long. So I'll probably put that up on the Facebook for people to listen to, because it's a fantastic song. The 2 girls performed as Carlos, and I wish they'd carried on. Great music.
Sweet. Yeah, the music that I thought of, because my dad is, I reckon he's got pretty good music taste, but he's notorious for like...
I can vouch for that.
When he gets into something, he will never get sick of it, regardless of how many times he listens to it. So,
didn't we all used to do that in our teens, though?
I guess so, yeah.
Like, I can't listen to a lot of Queen anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we'd go in the car, he'd have like maybe a handful of CDs that would just get played.
Hunting Whales by Checks being one of them?
Yeah. But yeah, I got him into the Checks, and then he kind of ruined it for me because he got it so much. But as a kid, like he always would play the B-52's self-titled album. And yeah, so I just associate that with holidays and long car trips and just my childhood, essentially.
What are the singles off that?
So there's Rock Lobsters off that one.
Oh, okay.
So
that's the one I was thinking
one of their most popular songs. But
what about Love Shack? Is that on there?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably their most popular song. Yeah. That's probably their most mainstream.
Well, until recently, Family Guy really blew open that Rock Lobster thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Talking Heads a little bit, actually. It's just like,
I would say they are the most funky, new wave sounding band.
But they kind of rock and roll. They kind of got the 50s vibe as well. Beach rock, surf rock kind of vibes. But then also just all their lyrics are really like weird and funky. But there's a movie.
It's kind of like a 60s renaissance from the California sound, talking about the beach a lot.
Yeah.
But I think New Wave came out as a response to punk. Like, it was all angry and aggressive, and then New Wave was like, let's get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a song on there called Planet Clear, which, so this album, like when Hannah and I were kids, we're the oldest 2 siblings. Dad would listen to this heaps, and then it kind of faded away. And then when my sister Claire was born, we started listening to it over and over again because of this.
Oh, really?
Is she named after the song?
No. I don't think so, at least. But yeah, that was her favourite song for a while, so she'd asked for us to put it on all the time.
Well, my pick was from a trip that I did down to Wellington when I was about 17. At that time, Ryan had just given me a bunch of music.
I'm your supplier.
Yeah, just heaps of music. He just like, oh, you want me to put some music on your iPod? And
I dumped about 10,000 songs on it. Yeah.
But yeah, I spent a lot of that trip, because we were driving so long, just, discovering new bands that you had put on there. One of them was Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Whoop whoop.
Especially the single Fujisawa Loser, which has a B-side where they collaborated with a band called The Rentals.
Oh my gosh, I haven't listened to that song in years. It's such a good version of that song.
Yeah. And it's
Hello.
Yeah. And it's like, I was listening to all this Asian Kung Fu Generation, and it all sounds really similar. All the guitar tones are really similar. All the bass lines are all like eighth note.
They are heavily influenced by that band, yeah.
Right. And then I heard this B-side on the single, and it just really stood out to me and just always reminds me of that time. And the other thing I listened to a lot on that trip was Reality by David Byrne, which is like
whoop whoop.
his album from 2000 and I want to say around 2002. Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah. One of his final ones before his retirement, shall we say. He came back in the end.
Yeah, I think it was his third to last album, I want to say.
Yeah.
In terms of Bowie albums, it's a pretty average album. But the tour...
Hey, a bad Bowie album was better than a lot of artists' good albums.
I still love it. But it's one of those ones that I don't listen to anymore. But the Reality tour, I had the DVD for that, and that's incredible. That's got like that version of Rebel Rebel on it.
Yeah,
with,
great intro, yeah.
Yeah.
And he played The Man Who Sold the World in his original arrangement. A lot of people think it's a Nirvana song.
Oh, right.
But after they covered it, he felt like people were confusing it, so he kind of rearranged it and made it a bit dancey.
Oh, okay.
But then for the Reality tour, he did the original version, and that version of Life on Mars is haunting. It's just him and the piano.
Right.
Oh yeah, I need to hear that. But like, I hear the original version and it's like really cool, but like it's just such a well written chord progression and melody. Like it's a really sort of perfectly written piece of music, and just to hear it simply would be really
it's
cool.
one of those like hairs up on the back of your neck moments, because
I bet
Bowie has such amazing control over his voice. He's not doing it in the original key, obviously, because it's been decades.
It's really high,
Yeah, well, when Lord sang it as tribute to him, that's kind of the key he was getting at the end, but it didn't matter because he has that perfect vibrolo on that long note.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see he still loves performing in that gig. It's such a cool gig to watch.
I reckon.
And it's like 35 songs or something. It's a proper set. And it's an Irish crowd. The Irish are the best crowd.
The other thing about that gig is like Gail Ann Dorsey on bass.
I was going to mention Under Pressure.
Yeah.
She fucking nails that Freddie Mercury line.
Yeah, and playing the bass line as well. Fuck, that's just inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Great picks.
cool. All right.
It makes me want to listen to music.
Hello, Ryan Eddie Hale here. If you're enjoying the show and want to stay updated, please feel free to follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this on. Also, if you would like to know when the next episode goes live, or want to receive relevant updates, plus lyrics and photos from each recording, make sure to follow our social pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. Furthermore, if you search Prompt Songs Recommendations into Spotify, we've set up playlists for each episode with a list of all the music that we've mentioned or recommended for easy access. Now, back to the show.
All right. Round 2. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yeah, I'll go first again then. Since that's the way we do it.
If you insist.
So my
Respect
next song...
the format.
Roger that. My next song is a prompt from Sam. The style was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the lyric prompt was Last Day of 2020. I'm not as good a bassist as Flea, obviously, but I try to play as inspired by him as possible.
I played on this song, so I can throw in my 2 cents. This song is a homage to one of their lesser known songs, but one of the best performances on the Live at Slane Castle performance.
Throw away
your television.
Throw away your television. It's like, throw away my television.
I thought you were going to say the title that we jokingly gave it, Throw Away Your Netflix Subscription.
Yeah, I haven't listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers for a long time, but my brother was really into them when I was a kid, so it was like one of my introductions to kind of like getting into music. Yeah, that was just one of the songs that I really liked when I was a kid.
I remember in high school you were really into them.
Oh, really?
So I was like,
Well, when you getting into bass, Flea is one of the first ones you go to.
Oh, absolutely. He's like the most famous electric bassist on earth, I'd say. Like,
probably.
I like how you're defending that you're not like comparable to Flea, even though you're a very good bassist, and I had to guitar like Frashane and drum like Chad Smith.
Yeah, well, let's listen and hear my rapping like Anthony Kiedis.
Well, just before we play, what happened on your last day of 2020? If it's relevant to the lyrics, or did you?
It is a little bit relevant. I did nothing, and then Ryan came over and we played some Magic: The Gathering.
Fuck yeah!
And then it was already 2021.
Cool. So, ladies, we are very much single. What's it called?
Yeah, Last Day is what it's called. Yeah.
Disguise, suit, tie, fertilize, floating here the city's cries. Outside, bad time, wish you could run and hide. Bad ride, last line, say goodbye to the very last time. Music to my ears, it's sounding right when you can't hear. New year, I don't care, I'll leave it with another tear. Black moth, blue shark, white cat out in the dark. Old mice, new vice, president falls under the knife. Spent the last day of a hard year hanging with you. You cheered me up from a dull way, you do what you do. Over every stone, who would have knew? You spent the last day of a hard year fixing my mood. Your time, got to stand up and fight. Up, down, turn around, hang yourself upside down. New, old, young, bold, lost and lonely, feeling cold. Inside, sour spice, hit my body, feeling right. Last year, old fear, looking ahead, I'll see you there. No way, okay, talk me in with what you say. Last day, last day, last day. Last day, spent the last day of a hard year hanging with you. You cheered me up from the doorway, you do what you do. Over every stone, who would have knew? You spent the last day of a hard year fixing my mood.
Damn.
Nice.
I'm a rapper.
During the song, Aaron leaned over to us and said, so notice how in this chorus I'm singing Last Dance, really American.
Last
and
day.
then straight into the chorus, Last Day.
Hey, there's a thing
Last
though, like
day.
rappers will change their pronunciation of things to make it rhyme. So
I don't think
Well,
this
see,
is-
that's why I brought it up before, because British people will say dance and sing dance. So
Yeah.
that's not right. American and Australians will both say and sing dance. So fair enough. With Kiwis, it's like only recently that we're starting to be like, no, let's own our accent.
yeah. Oh, that was awesome. I think you nailed the Chili's vibe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Flea kind of plucks really hard, so
Oh yeah.
I did that.
Did you record this with Ryan at Ryan's place as well? Or?
Yeah, we kind of did them both in one day.
Oh,
Well, first time for me playing along with another musician in about a year.
All right.
We did it
really?
live, so Adam and I played at the same time.
As in the bass and drums were live, and then
Yes, except for
everything else.
the solo.
Yeah, solo was overdone.
Yeah, definitely pays to do that. Actually.
yeah.
Adam was so unsure what to do for the solo.
Oh yeah, I think I was just kind of like
You
a
feel
bit
like you
stat-
should rush. So I was
Yeah.
trying to be like, no, do a groove and then turn it into something. And then he kept on turning it into something crazy. So I was like, let's just go with that.
Yeah, I just
I thought it was
Flea
cool.
is
though, going for
mental.
it.
yeah.
We've set a standard.
Yeah. I'm going to struggle following that,
And
actually.
because I'm going last, I'm going to ruin it. Well, I'm not going to ruin it. I'm going to go totally left field.
Mine's pretty left field, too, because
Oh, yeah, you got... Yeah, actually, that's good. That's good. We're the same.
my prompt from Adam was to do a free jazz song, and it didn't have to have vocals, but it was influenced by Glaciers. The thing about, because I did this at home by myself, the thing about free jazz is it's usually a group of people improvising simultaneously, so
Playing
it's
off each other, yeah.
interesting.
A lot of
trying to-
communication between the instruments
Yeah.
normally. Yeah.
So it's interesting trying to do that, but layering the instruments. So the whole Glaciers theme, I mean, it's instrumental. So like any instrumental song, you can kind of like say, oh, no, it's this section is about this. But I sort of did it in 3 parts. So the first part is quite like sparse and like effecty and like smooth. So it's supposed to be like, I guess, like a vast open space. And then it gets more, it picks up the speed. So I suppose that's like things starting to melt and starting to like, I don't know. And then it gets into like a really intense part at the end. So which is where the glacier is like crumbling into the sea. But
Very arty.
try and picture that. But I don't know.
I think it says a lot about our current state in the world.
I don't know.
And also there's the metaphor of an iceberg. There's more to it than you can see on the surface.
Yeah. But the whole thing is completely improvised on every level. So I had a bass line because part of the prompt was I had to have a figure. So I brought that in at 2 different points. But then apart from that, it's completely just made up as I went.
Cool.
And then I went over with my drum machine and tried to emulate like a jazz drummer.
Right.
on the drum machine, but it's pretty sporadic. And then guitar over the top, which has a lot of effects on it. And then I played saxophone.
Hey!
Very nice.
So
Sam used to play saxophone in high school.
and I haven't touched it in about a year, so I was actually kind of happy with how it sounded. It was I intentionally put it in a key that I could very easily do on saxophone.
Was it B flat?
No, because you have an E flat saxophone.
Was it E flat?
Yeah.
Calls it.
Concert E flat, so I could play C on the
Oh,
saxophone.
I see. Right. Yeah, because you add 3 sharps there.
Yeah. But cool. Anyway, this is my free jazz number called Glaciers.
free jazz.
What an ending, man. That was cool.
Trust 2 solos to make free jazz not just bearable, but actually awesome. Awesome melodies in there, man.
Yeah, free jazz is awesome, I think. And like that was some
That was insane.
hardcore free jazz. I love how the sections really kind of added structure that I really liked to it.
Yeah.
And like I really like that first section, the kind of like hauntingness of it, and then the ostinato in that second section, and then bringing it back in that third section like faster, was cool.
The way you performed it, because I don't feel right saying the word wrote it, the way you performed it was kind of spontaneous. Like it was the instruments reacting to each other, which is really hard to do when you're programming the drums post.
Well, that's how I did it though. I improvised every layer, and I pretty much did I did 2 takes of the bass, because I did the bass first. Yeah, I had that riff before I started, so I knew I was going to do that ostinato, because you asked me to make that a part of the thing, so I had planned that. It's all sort of over 1 chord. It does have a couple of chord changes.
Yeah, there was quite a huge key change for like a bar, and then you went back.
Yeah, it's mostly just the 1 chord, and then every now and again I'll just put a chord change in, but I just made sure I left heaps of space in each layer, so that as I added more, I knew that I could still fit things in, and it didn't get too busy.
But like that mix is astonishing. It's smooth.
Lots and lots of reverb, which is way more reverb than I'd usually put on anything, but I think you can get away with it with this kind of music.
Well, you would hear a lot of reverb if you go to a jazz club anyway. You get that room reverb.
Yeah.
There were some parts where the drums, you could tell they were programmed, but there were other times where I was like,
that snare, like, it's just so blatant.
But there were times when it was grooving, and I was like, this sounds like a real drummer.
Yeah, a lot on Logic you can get drum kits.
Yep.
And it's called SoCal. It's the only one that comes on Logic without you having to download it, because I haven't downloaded anything. So
you can get a jazz kit.
It's supposed to sound like an acoustic drum kit, and it's pretty nice. Like
I'd say the only thing that doesn't sound that good is the floor tom. Sounds a bit thin.
Yeah.
But the kick and the snare are weighty, and the cymbals are really, really shine. The saxophone was probably the perfect touch, cherry on top.
Yeah.
Great playing.
Thanks.
You did one of those things that I really love about free jazz, where like you get more and more playful with the harmony, and you start going like, here's this note, have you ever heard this note against this chord? And it's kind of like just playing out and back in, and
and every now and then one of them would play a motif, like especially between the guitar and the saxophone, and you'd start doubling up.
Well, yeah, because I did think about that with free jazz. It's actually usually the compositions are extremely simple, and that's what allows you to make it flexible. So I just had that 2-note motif, the bum bum bum.
I think what's also the most interesting thing for me is, I'm not saying you put, like, for lack of effort or anything, but this is a song that's improvised and quite organic compared to sitting down thinking about how a singer might sing a song, or how a drummer or a guitarist might play, and then adding all the effects. For example, my Ween song, and yet this is the one we have the most to say about.
The thing about free jazz though is there is no production to it, really. I mean, I did produce the sounds afterwards in terms of like adding effects and things, but like there's no planning. You can't you can't really plan free jazz. That's kind of the point.
Should we make a free jazz album?
I am inspired to make a free jazz album,
because the 3 of us could do the rhythm section, then Sam can play some saxophone, I can play a bit of melodica and keys, Adam can vocalize.
Beautiful, Sam. Really nice.
Really good.
I think we've got so much to say about it, because we've never had anything like that on here before.
Oh, no,
We normally do, like,
plus it's a genre that we kind of turn our noses up at.
Oh, I definitely don't. I'm a big fan.
I turn my nose up unfairly after today.
Yeah, I think one part is that I did make it funky.
Yeah, you made it quite melodic, which I don't think is very common in free jazz.
That does make it more palatable, as having just a groove rather than
Baby's
being like,
first free jazz. There's the title.
Introduction.
Cool. Ryan.
God. It's not that I'm not confident with this one, it's just that this is quite a change of tone. So the final one was suggested by Adam, and it was electronic, kind of minimalist, and the topic was introspection, which is not a topic I'm familiar with. So immediately I had an idea in my head of What would be cool is you take the two channels, left and right, plus you have your center, so there's 3. You have the left one play a note and hold that note. Then the second one adds a note, creates a harmony. And then the third one adds a note, creates a chord, and you hold it. And then one by one, they change notes, so every chord is different. And I've been listening a lot, this will come up later, to the most recent Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds album, which is a very similar idea of it's more ambient, it's more soundscapey, and there's not vocals, it's narration or just a voiceover. And because it was introspection, I got quite deep.
I see. Quite introspective, you might say.
Yeah. I would like to say before the song gets played, I am fine. I'm probably in the best place mentally that I've ever been. This is the mindset I had as a teenager, so I called it Who I Was and Who I Am. It plays around with the idea of someone struggling with a big change in their life. So for me it was puberty and the reputation you've gained when you make mistakes. It's not a traditional song at all. Go in with an open mind.
Good.
I'm someone out there's bad guy, and I'm someone else's good. Many lives get starved and stained just because someone misunderstood. It's dark when no one looks, but if you turn to glance, I'm blind. I don't want you. I don't want you. So what do I have to find? Who I was a confused kid who made some mistakes. And who I am is a shell-shocked man. My foot hovers the brakes. But who I was is all you see, not who I am now. That's not me. Into the maze I was thrust upon, my inner beast was teething, chasing the flash of shine, being pursued by unlit futures. Don't shine the light behind me. Don't shine the light behind me. Overwhelmed, I walled myself in. The turret rose strong. The beasts below can't touch me, but the beast inside me fed. Don't shine the light upon me. Don't shine the light upon me. Am I looking for someone to stand by me, who can leave me be alone? Or do I want a kingdom that dies once I leave the throne? But who I was is all you see, not who I am now. That's not me.
Hey guys, how good are cupcakes, right?
Wow.
Man, I got real science fiction kind of vibes from that. Like,
It is, yeah, it's very heavily influenced by the recent Nick Cave sound.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Not just because of the voice, but
He's got that
the arrangement.
yeah.
But
I totally relate to what you're saying, though, about, like, you can get so caught up in things from the past that it kind of becomes your identity, but it's totally not.
I don't really have much in contact with people from high school or before, just because they see me in a certain way, and
Right.
I'm not like that. So you guys are pretty much who I stay in contact with. But yeah, the lyrics are very literal in some places, and also get very metaphorical, like "Don't shine the light behind me,
right.
don't look into my past" kind of thing. I always like to throw in a Wall reference from Pink Floyd, just because that album sort of sums up my teenage years.
Well, isn't that album very introspective in itself?
Yeah,
Like,
it's about shutting yourself away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was creepy and
I got
Very cinematic.
Yeah. I got really emotional during one of the earlier takes. I initially tried to sing some of it, but I did pick a key. It's an A natural or harmonic minor. So I did have ideas for melodies for, especially for the chorus, like the "Who I was is all you see, not who I am now, that's not me." That's why it rhymes. I had a click track going, but I was like, no, it's not working. I just have to narrate it
Right.
and do it kind of like a poet performance. And then, I think it was "Don't Shine the Light Upon Me." I nearly broke down during it because I was so in my head at that stage.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually sound emotional and expressive, because that's something I struggle with in normal lyrics and performances. Except when I'm
very
pretending I'm a
hard to
preteen dude singing that.
Yeah, I think that's something I tried to do with my songs this time as well, is just try and really amp up the performance. Like,
It showed,
start yelling
yeah.
and
Yeah, that's what you have to do with
No,
original
exactly.
music. Eh?
it has to be like 150%.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I found as a high school band student was the reason why it would sound bad is people weren't playing the dynamics or the feels. You kind of have to overcompensate, but actually you're just following it. If it says fortissimo, like give it hell,
Yeah.
you can't just play loud.
Yeah.
You have to really put effort into it. And then when it's pianissimo, you really got to play lightly.
you can't just be like, oh, a bit quieter. Like, you've got to put in the effort.
Yeah, it feels like you're overdoing the dynamics, but you're
Yeah.
just actually doing it properly.
Yeah.
Good.
Very,
Strong
very
episode.
nice change of mood, like, actually.
Just in time to bring it down for the end of the podcast.
Very like avant-garde.
Yeah, so we might as well use this to transition into the recommendations, because the album that directly influenced that, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Ghosteen, came out early last year. If you're familiar with Nick Cave, he's the perfect performer and songwriter. He started off very post-punk, very aggressive, in-your-face music, very noisy, and then with the Bad Seeds, he started to get a bit more ballady. He'd tell amazing stories about the darker side of humanity, but also the lighter side. And then recently, he's turned it more into ambient and soundscapes and less narrative. And Ghosteen's kind of like unlike anything he's ever done before. There's a 14-minute song in it called Hollywood, and every lyric just has this like strong image that stays in your mind. And he wrote it just as words first, because he had this vision of the story of the song. And I just remember listening to it in the car, and it's just stuck with me. It's just a very, very unique album. Don't be put off by the album cover, because it's got unicorns on it.
Yeah, I've been listening to this person for a long time, and I've seen her live as well. But yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, I feel like I got a bit exhausted of listening to her. And then recently I've been playing a couple of her songs in a band. And I don't know if you guys have found this before, but like when you learn to play a song, it kind of gives you a new appreciation for it.
Oh, absolutely.
First I'm talking about is Leanne LaHarvest. Have you guys heard her music?
I think you've mentioned her to me, but I don't think I've heard her.
She's pretty, like, she kind of has a lot of influences. Kind of soul vocals, but with really interesting music, like generally quite acoustic, but then yeah, she's got it's very textural, and her album Blood is my favorite, I think. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so her album Blood.
So since the last podcast, I listened to quite a bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers just to kind of get back in the mood.
Are you excited for the new album? John
Oh,
Frusciante's
Frusciante's
back.
back. Yeah. I was gonna suggest an album that doesn't have him on it. And it's called the Uplift Mofo Party Plan. I think it's their second or third album.
Oh, who's the
Still with
guitarist on that one?
It's the original one before he died. His name's Hillel Slovak, which I knew off the top of my head, and we definitely didn't look up on Wikipedia. But no, his guitar playing is really cool. Especially the second song called Funky Crime. When I went to record at Ryan's house, I just had it stuck in my head so bad. Yeah, the Uplift Mofo Party Plan.
So how would you describe that album? Is it funky still, or is it a bit more... Because they started off heavy metal, didn't they?
I'd say it's more funky, yeah. It's less rocky even. I don't know, it's just a little bit more rough around the edges.
They've always been like a high energy band, but like I feel like they've kind of toned down the music energy a little bit.
Right, yeah.
And toned up, like the live performance energy is still there, but like, you know, when you watch videos of them from back in the day, they were absolute psychos.
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to forgive them a little bit.
Naked psychos.
Yeah, well, yeah. You have to forgive them a little bit because they're in their late 50s now.
Yeah,
like.
exactly. I mean,
but Flea can still do all that shit.
Absolutely.
So for the first 3 prompts that we are setting, we will go alphabetically. So Adam, you will give me a prompt. I will give Sam a prompt. Sam will give Adam a prompt. So what is my first prompt, Adam?
Wow. So the genre is a musical theatre song.
Is this because I like Starkid?
The topic is sea salt. You can do different voices. Do whatever you like.
Okay, so Sam.
Hello.
Cream.
Ah.
Do you need it for your psoriasis? So the trio, Eric Clapton-led trio Cream, and the topic is school romance.
Okay.
Hopefully innocent.
Cool. Cream.
Look, I know you like Eric Clapton's playing. I thought I'd also give you something psychedelic, because I'm a sucker for psychedelic.
Yeah, okay, so I feel like my prompt for Adam is quite underwhelming after those two like really cool ones. But it's the style of electro-pop.
Electro-pop, I see.
And the lyric prompt is flashing lights.
Being vague is good on this show because we are trying something new for the other 3 prompts. On the table, I have 2 metal eggs of a nondescript chocolate manufacturing company that I do not support. One of them is labelled music. The other is labelled lyrics. If you are a fan of the show and you regularly listen, please feel free to send me music and or lyric prompts to put in these eggs. You can contact us via our Facebook or our Instagram pages. If you go on Reddit, leave us a comment or email us at promptsongspodcast@gmail.com.
This is your chance, Mum.
So in here I've got at least 30 of each, mainly from the 3 of us. Who would like to do the honours and draw us, Adam? Our first music. So with this one, we are all going to do the same prompt as our second song. No pressure. Nice little bit of ambience.
And the winner is... Oh, you even balled it up.
Oh, yeah. Did you think that those were flat pieces of paper making that noise?
The suspense is real.
I think Adam's just actually struggling.
So, this is one of mine. The artist is The Cars.
Okay.
Now that's just what I needed.
So that must mean Sam will give us our lyric prompt.
This is another Adam one. And the lyrics...
Rigged, recount. No.
The lyric prompt is literature.
So I'm guessing you're meaning it can be based off a book we've read, that kind of thing?
I have no idea.
You suggested it.
Oh, it was months ago. Or weeks ago, I guess. Cool. Literature. I'm happy on that.
So that is normally where it would end. But we have a special guest who will potentially be on our next podcast, a mutual friend who will be unnamed for now. We have decided between us that we will give him 2 prompts. The first one will be a 4-chord song, and the lyric prompt for that is I Took Your Photograph. The second is a rock trio, but you have to use a 3-part harmony in the song, and the lyric prompt for that is Where Are My Keys?
That's a problem I'm very close with.
Sweet, so we've got 8 songs for you to look forward to for the next podcast. We will be taking a bit more time between these ones because Sam's going back to study, so he won't have as much free time, and we want to give him... Wait, why are we giving him more time? He just does it on the day anyway.
Well, his time would be better for him, actually.
Yeah.
Because I do it sooner.
Well, I just mean, like, your product will be just as good.
Yeah. No, we'll say it's for our friend to give them a bit more time because they're a bit nervous about being on, but they're very excited to be on. So we'll see you in about a month or so. I wonder if we're going to be able to sustain this quality because this was a fantastic run of songs.
Episode.
I
reckon it'll be cool. It'll be
not
cool
like
to
those
hear,
other shit episodes.
It'll be cool to hear everyone's interpretation of the same prompts and see how they come out differently.
That is the format.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be playing around with the format a bit from here on out, just to keep ourselves interested. But we'll be using the eggs a lot more for suggestions, and it's a way for our audience to interact with us as well. So if you have any suggestions, again, just contact us. If it's acceptable, I will put them in, and we'll credit you when we read them out. But you can't credit yourself on the song. We're doing all the hard work. Don't be silly.
All right.
Prompt Songs is an independent...
That's it for this episode. To access lyrics and photos from the recording of the show, or just to stay updated with releases and relevant news, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit. Your support and feedback is much appreciated, so leave us a comment on what you enjoyed, or send in a prompt of your own that you would like one or all of us to tackle. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Perfume Songs Podcast is the independent work of Ryan Eddie Hale, Adam Riddell, and Sam Swindells. All music featured is original, and all relevant rights belong to those parties.
Lifting up society out of all this grime. Waiter, where's the fly gone to now?